DC here. Hi guys and gals. Hey, hope you're well. It is Thursday afternoon. I'm sitting in the park close to our home, and I had to come here. I was going to actually vlog on the grounds at home, but we've got some workers over working in the basement, and it sounds like if you were over at the dentist right now, because they're removing they're removing a little coat of cement. The reason for that is that at the time, those of you who've been following my vlogs know that we had to change our heating system. And the room where the oil tank was, so the oil tank's been removed, and we're going and making basically turning that room where the oil tank was, which is about 20 square meters, into a storage room. But yeah, so we had somebody come over and do some work there and work on the floor, but we were taken, put it that way, by a dishonest worker, and he did a really lousy job and is basically gone AWOL now. Yeah, anyway, I won't get into all the details, but you can even, I don't know if you can hear it in the background. You might, but there's so many birds. So basically the guy is, like I say, more or less gone AWOL. And we had a professional come over and have a look. And well, he basically told us, you've been taken for a ride, because what he's done, he's used the wrong material, and as he said, he's passed himself off for something that he wasn't. And the one that we're working with now, we had worked with before, a few years back. We took another one because he was cheaper. You know, there's something said about that. You shouldn't always go for the cheapest worker. I'm not saying that we do, but this time we actually did, because we supposedly knew about the person. But anyway, it's again, it's a long story, but and now we're paying basically for our mistake. So the person's over there and he's working and he's repairing the bad part that was done, because the way the basement was, it was already all cracking up and flaking, and it was complicated. Anyway, like I say, sometimes you cannot always trust. Sometimes you have to think maybe more carefully than I did, that when something seems too good, it probably is, you know. Anyway, so we are solving that problem, but it's gonna hurt my pocketbook once again. Yeah. You know, there's a whole thing. You might hear a lot of cars going by because there's the main road just across over there. So, well, actually, I can just show you across the tree. That's our place, and I'm just basically, really, literally across the road here for my vlog. Yeah, you know, it's one thing about. I think that, you know, we had discussions in the past about trust and so on. And it is one thing, especially in the building industry, trust is a big thing. It really is. There are a lot of shady contractors out there, you know, that are basically out to get your money. They do the job, but sometimes they just simply don't do it that well. And you end up having to do it over again. So I guess it's, like I say, sometimes cheapest is not always the best. You know, that is also like, it's like in friendship or many things like that. You know, you think, you know, you've got a good friend, or, you know, but it's only when things get, you know, I was going to say things get rough, that you see if people are really with you, or if they're able to be with you. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Aside from that, you know, it's it's one of those things again where I was realizing, like, hey, I'm retired. There are advantages and great disadvantages. One of the advantages is that no matter when these people come, I can usually make time for them to just come in and do their work in the middle of the day, and nobody has to do anything special to be there. I am there. The flip side of that, of course, is that to pay for these things, well, I got to really go and go into my savings. And some people will say, well, you're lucky you had savings. Well, it's one of these things. I knew when we bought the house already in 1998. Yeah, we got the house in 1998. The heating system then was already 32 years old, something like that. I think it was 65 or 60, 1965 or 1966. I can't quite remember now. So, I mean, it was already a really old heating system. And then they had told me, I was told at the time, we don't know how long this will last, and you'll have to get something new. So, it lasted another like 25 years onto that. But in those 25 years, I had been putting money aside, knowing that it would go for the heating system. Now, that was pretty good, but the only problem is that, well, how could I say, the green revolution, the environmental revolution came through in the meantime. Because I'd been kind of like saving for replacing my heating system with something similar. But now you're not allowed to do that anymore. So instead of spending a certain amount of money, it's like times 3 or times 4. So of course a lot of those savings that I'd been putting aside for other stuff are now going into that. Anyway, but why? Because it's going to be environmentally friendly. I guess that's, I sometimes wonder. It's like, electric cars, they're really cool, but are the batteries environmentally friendly? No, they aren't actually. Anyway, whatever. It's a first world. I'm not even really ranting, actually. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I kind of knew it was going to happen. Yeah, it was my Damocles sword, as we used to call it that way. We knew it was going to happen. And when it did, well, we were ready, actually. But, you might be ready, but it's like I say, it's like going to the dentist. You might be ready, but then, when you have to pay for it, or, when it hurts. I'm just looking what's going on over there. Somebody stopped with his bicycle and started looking at the house. I was wondering why. Yeah, that's another thing. We live in Switzerland. There's a relatively tight apartment situation. And we get pretty much every week, we get a letter in the mail or even phone calls asking if we'd be ready to sell the house. The only problem is that the people who want to buy the house do not want to buy the house. They want to tear it down and build an apartment building. So it's promoters doing that. And I just put off with that, because you've got a perfectly good house, but people just want to tear it down for gain. And again, the same environmentally friendly people that are leading our country and our town here are saying, well, you shouldn't have just one family in a house. You gotta use that surface and use the surface and put as many families as possible and so on. So yeah, those of you who are my age and were brought up in villages and were brought up in the countryside, most of us were brought up in little houses. A lot of us were, at least. Some were brought up in apartments. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying we were brought up in little homesteads, which usually were, I'm not going to say shacks, but at least ours wasn't much better than that actually at the time. But I mean, we had that advantage of, that different type of lifestyle. Over here, I mean, you're listening to people and they're saying like, oh no, well, you know, we can't let the kids out. It's too dangerous. We can't do this. We can't go out at night. It's too dangerous. Life has changed. Life has changed. Yeah. And I just saw the time. I'm over 10 minutes. I don't like to vlog over 10 minutes, so I'm gonna probably stop here. I'll just stop. Yeah. So anyway, that'll be my chat for the midweek. So I hope you have what's left of the week. I hope it's going to be a good one for you. And that'll be it for now. DC signing off. Take care, everybody, and have a good Thursday and Friday for what's left of the week. Bye-bye.